That song is actually one of my favorites. It's originally by Josh Garrels, and I remember hearing it years ago, and just the theme of "You're always welcome at my table. You can always come home to me." As a father, that resonated with me in such a big way as I was going through challenges with my older son, and all of a sudden I just felt this overwhelming feeling of gratitude. It doesn't matter what happens, what transpires, the years go by, you're always welcome at home, at our table. And I just means so much to me that home, Thanksgiving table, dinner table, it represents opening, love, in a way that transpires just about everything. So thank you, Soulshine, for doing that beautiful piece. We're going to do a blessing today, and this was actually inspired by Elian, who suggested this last year, and we weren't able to do it. And it's a indigenous blessing or Thanksgiving address from the Haudenosaunee tribe, and it's the Iroquois Confederacy. So this is originally in Mohawk language, and it's translated, of course, to English, and this is a slightly shorter version than the original, which is pretty long. And it's basically called Ohenton Kare wa te quen, which means words before all else. And it's important to acknowledge where this came from, of course. And the intention of it was to make sure that we're respecting the land, respecting each other, respecting our nature and our resource and our Creator before we do anything else, especially before we start eating, before we start gathering for Thanksgiving, and to acknowledge that Thanksgiving is not considered the same to everybody. It's not always a joyful thing as far as historically goes, but it can be grateful for everybody. So the way this works is I'm going to read a short couple sentences, and then it's participatory. So your role in this is to say, "Now our minds are one," after each phrase, okay? So I'll get you started, and all you need to do is to visualize these words. If you can, really embody what's going on in this prayer here. For the people. Today we have gathered and see that the cycles of life continue. We bring our minds together as one as we give greetings and thanks to each other as people. Now our minds are one. For the Earth Mother, we are thankful to our Mother, the Earth, for she gives us all that we need for life. She supports our feet as we walk upon her. To our Mother, we send greetings and thanks. Now our minds are one. For the waters, we give thanks to all the waters of the world for quenching our thirst and providing us with strength. Water is life, and with one mind, we send greeting and thanks to the Spirit of water. Now our minds are one. For the plants and the food, we turn towards the vast fields of plant life and all the food plants we harvest. They sustain many life forms and have helped people survive since the beginning of time. We send them greetings and thanks. Now our minds are one. For the animals, we gather our minds together to send greetings and thanks to all the animal life in the world. They have many things to teach us as people, and we are glad they are still here. Now our minds are one. The sun. We send greetings and thanks to our eldest brother, the sun. Each day he brings the light of a new day, and all is the source of all the fires of life. Now our minds are one. And for Grandmother Moon, we give thanks to our eldest grandmother, the moon, who lights the nighttime sky. By her changing face, we measure time. We send greetings and thanks to our grandmother, the moon. Now our minds are one. And for our Creator. And we turn our thoughts to the Creator and send greetings and thanks for all the gifts of creation. Everything we need to live a good life is here on this Mother Earth. We send our choicest words of greetings and thanks to the Creator. Now our minds are one. We have arrived at the place where we end our words. If something was forgotten, we leave it to each individual to send such greetings and thanks in their own way. Now our minds are one. Aho. Thank you, everybody. What if you turned to somebody and said thank you for being you? How would that feel? That's beautiful. Thank you, everybody. And now I'd like to welcome a person who is one of the most amazing examples of gratitude that I know. It's no stranger to our community, Mr. William Gregory, who's also one of our ministerial candidates, who's going to be sharing his talk on the Ninja Jedi superpower of gratitude. William.
That's pretty average for me. If being clumsy were an Olympic event, I would be a 4-time gold medalist with my face. I would have like endorsement deals. When I was little, my sisters didn't call me Billy, they called me Spilly. A drop of water forms in the heavens, in the clouds, coalescing and cascading down through the air, imploding into the ocean. A 0-point implosion sending forth a splash. A pillar of water rising straight into the sky. And just when this natural flow begins to slow, just when this momentum stops, another drop bursts forth free, hovering there in the air for a moment. And in this moment of separation, this little drop of water looks out upon the ocean and says, "Oh my God, it's so beautiful. Oh my God, it's so beautiful. Oh my God, it's so beautiful." As long as you're doing time in a body, you are worthy of nothing less than moments of, oh my God, it's so beautiful. We're designed for, oh my God, it's so beautiful. There are people who walk around in absolute beauty and yet don't even notice it. There are people surrounded in splendor and all they can think about is what they don't have. So hang on, time out. The Ninja Jedi superpower of gratitude is something that I've discovered in my life, even though I was rather cynical and dark. In fact, I scoffed at it. When I call something Ninja Jedi superpower, that's like my own little private joke within myself. It's because the concept, the technology, the practice of gratitude is free. You don't have to have a degree. You don't have to take a class. You don't need a permit or a license to practice gratitude. It's within each one of us. It is something that is available to us all, and we practice it in the privacy of our own minds. It's something that takes our volition. And what makes it Ninja Jedi is that it changes us. What makes it Ninja Jedi is it changes our lives. It changes our relationship with the world. I have several things I've discovered in my own path of spiritual practice that I call Ninja Jedi, because the idea that I can change my own operating system and what I believe about myself and how I see the world is powerful. It's like magic. Can we go to our first slide now? Thank you. Gratitude's resplendent power transforms our lives and communities through applying the principles of gratitude. And so if I were reading this, there are times when I have a moment and, I'm looking at this moment now. And yet I'm looking at this moment from a 25-year-old William's perspective, as though I can hear voices in the back of my mind from different times in my life when I was living in different paradigms. And I will tell you right now, if I was then here now watching this talk, I would go, resplendent? I mean, seriously, resplendent? You're talking about gratitude, right? You know, it's going to have a resplendent? So we're going to touch on that again, the whole idea of resplendency. And I'll give you the definition right now. Resplendent, attractive or impressive through being richly colorful or sumptuous. Let's go to the next slide. Oh, I got to go to the next slide too. Yeah. So we'll go with the basic, let's say, we just landed here from another planet, what's this whole gratitude thing? We'll just go with the basic definition. Gratitude is the state of being thankful and appreciative for the positive things in one life. And I would even take that a step further. Gratitude it may just be a moment, it might be a state of being, but for me it was a practice. For me, gratitude was something I had to practice, and I've discovered it wasn't just grateful for the positive things in my life. I've come to a place where I'm grateful for some of the bad things in my life. I'm grateful for some of my failures. So when I first was given the assignment of gratitude, I was in a really dark place. I was racked with shame. I felt like I had ruined my life. I felt like I was unworthy. There was no way I could make up for how badly I had fumbled things in my life. I was failing my kids. I was failing my family. And so if you can imagine, there was a momentum, a vortex going of just feeling sad, shameful, negative. I felt like everyone was out to get me. I'd just been dealt a hand of cards that was unwinnable. And one of the instruction was find three things, just find three things to be grateful for. And I did it through gritted teeth. I did, but I was willing to do it because I didn't want to suffer anymore. I didn't want to suffer. I wanted something else. I wanted the love. I wanted to be happy. I wanted that, and so I was willing to be grateful. So in my journey into gratitude, it just kind of started. Well, my car started. I wasn't always sure my car was going to start. There's some people who drive really nice cars, and they don't know what it's like to break down on the side of the road. I know what that's like. I know what it's like being on a road trip, wondering if I'm going to get there or not. Well, I'm grateful my car started. I'm grateful I didn't pop the yolk on my egg. I'm grateful that the toothpaste is in the medicine cabinet instead of underneath my son's bed. And I started going along this gratitude thing, and then it's like I started realizing, wow, hang on, time out. I have hot and cold running water. There were emperors and kings who didn't have hot and cold running water. I live in relative safety. There are people around the world who don't live in relative safety. You know, I still have most of my teeth. You know, I have food in the refrigerator. My kids are healthy. And what I discovered, and one of the things I learned about gratitude, and this is the next layer of gratitude, is that in order to be grateful, in order to feel genuine appreciation, our heart has to open just a little bit. We have to be willing to open our heart, even just a tiny little bit, to be genuinely grateful. And the truth is, when we open our heart, it's a fact, Jack, that we start to shine. We start to shine. We have a light of our own true nature. And we can walk around with a closed heart. I mean, and we do sometimes. We have moments, days, however long that is, where our hearts are closed. But the second we intentionally try to show gratitude or appreciate something in our life, our hearts begin to open. We begin to shine. And the fact is, we live in a matrix. It's all around us, 360 degrees, this spherical matrix that surrounds us, that is designed to respond to what frequency we emit. And if we walk around feeling sour, that's okay. We're all going to do our time in sour. But this matrix will respond that back to us. Imagine walking around actively looking for something to appreciate, something to be grateful for, something to love. Something to be in awe about, something to feel wonder about. We're actively looking. We begin to rewrite the operations of our subconscious mind. Our mind then becomes subconsciously trained to find what's right in our lives, to find things that are beautiful in our lives. And there's plenty of evidence out there for that. It's limitless. In fact, when we notice something to be grateful for or thank someone in our relationships or in our just everyday moments, that light shines, someone feels received, someone feels seen. We're giving honor to people in our lives. When we walk into a room looking for something to be grateful for, something to notice, something to praise, we become ninja Jedis, raising everyone else to that level of consciousness. When we love people and show gratitude, we disarm them. And something else I've noticed, when I go out of my way to be grateful, doors just open to me. Because innately, we want to give a shit about each other. So gratitude is a mindset. Gratitude is not just a passing emotion, but a conscious choice to focus on the good and the positive in our life. Core elements of gratitude. Gratitude includes feelings of wonder, thankfulness, and a desire to reciprocate kindness. Gratitude and positivity. Practicing gratitude can help shift one's perspective, fostering more positives and optimistic outlooks. So one of the ways I use gratitude, and there are things in this life I realize that I have no control over. No matter how decent I may be, no matter how many times I take the high road, there are things in this life that I have no control over. And there are times in this life when I feel genuinely scared. And I can feel this cyclone or circle start where I start a pattern. I'm depressed. I start thinking about what's wrong. I start dreading this. I start dreading that. And I can feel myself start to sink down. And there was a time when I was helpless to that. I would start spinning scenarios of the worst possible scenario. I'm running dialogues in my life with the people I feel helpless about, where I'm getting mad and I'm going to show you, or I'm getting lacerated. I mean, I would literally run whole scenes and movies in my life about what was wrong, how I was going to fail. There's no point in even trying. However, now when I begin to feel that momentum start to kick in and I feel that tension in my gut and my heart starting to race and I feel like I'm being dragged through broken glass naked, I can think of something to be grateful for. I can find something beautiful to appreciate. And I have come to a place where I appreciate little things. I pick my daughter up from school on Friday. I have to drive her out to her mom's house. I have no desire to run to the school and wait in line. I have no desire to drive her out to her mom's house. I got stuff to do. I pick her up. She gets in the car. I meet her at the school. She just grabs me by the arm and we walk to my van. She's upset. So I sit there and I get in the car and I don't say a word. Not a word. I just sit there and she's crying and she's upset. We're driving along. She doesn't talk right away. And the sun is setting. Beautiful blue sky day. The sun is setting. It's low on the horizon. We got golden sunlight faintly, gently rolling out across the juniper trees to the open desert of the south. And I'm driving east. The sun's behind me. I'm looking up and I see her golden hair and the golden sunlight and the tears falling from her blue eyes, and she's telling me how she just feels so confused. She just spent 6th period crying in the bathroom. She doesn't know what's happening. She's just so confused. She's so angry. She embarrassed herself. And I'm watching these tears fall out of her eyes. And I'm just so grateful to be her dad. And I'm just so grateful I get to be there with her. And I feel like I am in resplendence. If I wasn't willing to be there and have an open heart, and if I hadn't practiced gratitude, I would be irritated and saying, "What's wrong?" But because I'm willing to be grateful, because I'm willing to open my heart, because I have found the value in gratitude as a ninja Jedi superpower, I get to show up in my life with an open heart. And I get to say, "Yeah, I hear you, love. I hear you, love. I can't fix anything. All I can say is, I hear you, love. And I'm your dad, and I got your back." And the fact that I get to be there as a dad, that I get to have an open heart, is a victory in this life. There's something you don't know about me. There is nothing special about me. I come from poor, blue-collar, crop-working family. I don't have an impressive education. I don't have a lineage or a family that would impress anyone. I'm an average, everyday, salt-of-the-earth mutt who for some reason had the blessing of waking up and started to apply spiritual principles in my life. And it's made all the difference in my life. Let's go to the next slide, Rod. Thank you. The benefits of gratitude. So these are pragmatic. Like, let's say you had no romanticism in your heart. Let's say you didn't have a whimsical gene to you. You were just looking at this as like an accountant in a pragmatic way. Okay, so your pragmatic reasons for gratitude: improved mental health. Gratitude is a state of being. Am I on the right one? No. Gratitude is shown to reduce symptoms of depression and anxiety, leading to greater overall well-being. Increased resilience. Gratitude helps cope better with stress, adversity, enabling us to bounce back more quickly from life's challenges. Stronger relationships. Expressing gratitude fosters stronger, more meaningful connections with family, friends, and community members. Greater life satisfaction. If you're into life satisfaction, pay attention to this one. Focusing on what we're grateful for rather than what we lack leads to a deeper sense of fulfillment and contentment. Enhanced physical health. Practicing gratitude can lead to improved sleep, reduced sleep, reduced inflammation, and even stronger immune system. And it was pointed out to me that they did a study where they had someone and they measured their inflammation and then had them write out a gratitude list, and then noticed that it actually dropped. Their inflammation dropped. If you can imagine, as frequency vibration, we are an infinitely recurring vibration of sound frequency, all the time. When we're in a state of gratitude, our heart's opened, our blood system's working correctly, our digestive system's working correctly, our cortisol levels are low, our immune system starts to boost, our executive functions begin functioning executively. But this is all a choice. It's all a choice. It's so easy to become unconscious and just operate like a drone or an NPC. Waking up and practicing these things, there are pragmatic benefits, there are spiritual benefits, there are Ninja Jedi benefits, but it's a choice. It's something we choose to do. I know that in this life, I don't believe that there's a heaven. I don't believe that there's a hell. I don't know what happens when this body takes its last exhalation. All I know is I've made a decision in this life that I would rather love. I don't have to know it leads anywhere. I would rather love. So, next slide, please. Gratitude is one of those things I consider it's an open source spirituality. It belongs to everyone. Unity is one movement that focuses on gratitude and promotes it as though it's really important. Gratitude is a fundamental principle in the unity movement, a spiritual philosophy that emphasizes the interconnectedness of all things. By cultivating a grateful mindset, unity practitioners believe we can align ourselves with the divine experience and greater harmony and peace and abundance in our lives. Gratitude helps us recognize the blessings and the opportunities that surround us, fostering a deeper appreciation for the world and the people in it. And can we have the next slide, Rod? So these are practical concepts and things that we can actually work with on gratitude. A gratitude journal, a daily practice of writing down 3 to 5 things that you're grateful for, focusing on the small blessings in your life. A gratitude letter. Write a heartfelt letter to someone who has positively impacted your life, expressing your appreciation. A gratitude walk. Take a mindful walk and consciously notice beauty and wonder in your surroundings, expressing thanks of the natural world. A gratitude meditation. Set aside some time each day to pause, reflect, and silently express gratitude for the blessings in your life. Gratitude affirmations. Start your day with positive affirmations that cultivate a grateful mindset, such as I am thankful for all the good in my life. I am lighthearted, easygoing, and irresistibly charming. If you're going to do time in a body being lighthearted, easygoing, and irresistibly charming, I highly recommend it. You guys are weird. Reciprocal gratitude. Actively express gratitude to others in your daily life, in your daily interactions. Acknowledging the impact they have on your life. So I've had this practice where if I'm out somewhere, I'm at a store or somewhere, and I see someone working, especially like someone carrying something, or especially little kids, I'll just say, "You're doing a great job." I'll say, "You're doing a great job." I had this really, really precious moment. And we were on a road trip to Portland, and we stopped by McDonald's in Madras because I was starving and I just couldn't wait anymore. And we're in McDonald's of all places, and I'm there, and the Coke machine wasn't working. And I heard someone in the kitchen just yell at this kid to go fix the Coke machine. And this kid comes out, and I'm a dad, I'm a father. I have 2 sons and a hellion daughter. And I looked at this young man, and I just saw how, I have one son who's high-functioning autistic. And he reminded me of my son, and he looked lost, and he looked confused, and he looked scared. And I'm sitting there waiting for him to fix the Coke machine. And I just said, "Hey, thank you. You're doing a good job. I appreciate you fixing the Coke machine. I really wanted a Coke." And he just kind of looked at me. And before he walked away, I said, I want you to know that I'm proud of you. I don't know why I'm really tenderhearted today, but thank you for your patience. But the look he gave me when I said, "I'm proud of you," was so precious. It was so precious. And every single one of you has that same preciousness in you. As your attorney, I advise you to shine your light. Next slide, Rod. By embracing gratitude, we unlocked a profound connection with ourselves, with others, and with the world around us. As we cultivate this transformative mindset, we discover newfound fulfillment, joy, and a deeper sense of unity. Let us embark on this journey together, empowered by the transformative power of gratitude. I wish you all the best.